Welcome to CAM Matters, Condos, Co-ops, HOAs, and beyond. Betsy Barbieux is an informational leader in Florida on community association living, rights, and obligations. She is an expert on the rights and obligations of owners as well as the association. If you live or are planning to live in the state of Florida, there's a good chance you'll be part of a community association. And by the end of this show, you'll know a little bit more about community associations and why they matter.
Welcome to the November 2025 episode of CAM Matters. I'm Suzanne Lynn with Betsy Barbieux, who is the boss, the leader of all these shows that we're doing. She puts a lot of time and effort into it, and she's got lots of friends, and she invited Noah to come on to the show with us today. But Betsy, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Do you want to introduce your friend for us?
Yes, I have Noah G, because we're not going to try to pronounce the last name. It's worse than mine. So we have Noah G from ManageCasa, which is a software system and company. And I wanted to hear about his services and his products and hopefully how easy it is to incorporate or to switch out from whatever systems you've been using. So Noah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me today.
Noah, we're going to ask you to put the cookies way down on the shelf because I have a love-hate relationship with technology. Just assume I don't know anything because I probably don't. And we'll start from there. How do you help communities with the technology that you have, and how can you be of service to them?
Yeah, no, great question. So, we are a software company, and we provide communities the tools they need to, obviously the most important part is the financials. You need a place where you can collect the dues, whether you collect them monthly, quarterly, annually. We provide the accounting technology for you to do that. And then also it's like an all-in-one stop shop. So picture kind of like a digital community for your association where, you have all of your units with all of the contacts, property information, all of the financials. And then depending on, what's important to your association, you can manage all of your ticketing. And when I say ticketing, I mean like violations, ARC reviews, maintenance tickets.
Wow.
We even have amenity reservations. So I don't know if you have a community that has a clubhouse or that has like a pool that requires collect a fee to book a reservation, you can have it be either free or collect a fee to book the amenity. E-voting, that's an important topic lately. People want a secure environment where they can, vote on new board members and elections. And it pictures just like an all-in-one stop shop. So if you're still on QuickBooks or spreadsheets managing your community, we've helped countless amount of people go from QuickBooks to utilizing our software and giving an owner portal for people to log into. Or if you're on already a software, a competitor of ours, it's always good to see what else is out there. We are pretty modern technology stack. You can download our app in the mobile, in the Apple Store or the, Android, and very modern technology.
All I can think of is how long does it take to switch?
I was just going to say, what change is so painful. Let me just jump in on the change part.
Yeah.
The onboarding and the change. I mean, instantly I go to, it's going to be so much work, so much trouble, and it's going to be so confusing. How does that look?
Yeah, and honestly, that's probably one of the biggest objections we have to overcome is just getting people comfortable and confident that change is a good thing. People are used to doing things the way they're doing it, and two, it's just another project to deal with, and there's so many other projects to do. So nobody's like, yes, let's make a software change. Usually it's like, okay,
that's what I need in my life. That's just what I need is a software change in my life.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we know we need software, but we don't want to do it, but okay. But yeah, what we do is we really hold your hand through the entire process. We have a data migration team that will you pretty much just give us whatever files you have. You don't have to worry about cleaning up the data. We'll clean it up for you. We really just need a list of all of your property units, all of your contact information, and typically just like we when it comes to financials, we always say it's best to just kind of start fresh. You can obviously bring in past data if you want, but we recommend let's just start with the opening balances. So if somebody hasn't paid their prior year dues or they're behind or they owe some money still, we want to, when they sign up and log into ManageCasa, they need to see what they owe. But for most people, when they log in, they'll just, start paying their dues there forward looking.
It sounds pretty simple so far.
Yeah. So that payment portal for the owners, that where they can make their payments, that then interfaces with their own bank account.
Yes, that's exactly right. So they can either connect their bank account, or they can pay with a debit or credit card. They can also save their payment method, so that they can just set it up on auto pay as well, so they don't have to worry about logging in every month and paying it.
But that integrates with the association's bank account. They don't have to open up a different bank account. You can use whatever banking system they already use.
That's correct. Whatever bank you're already using, you would connect it with ManageCasa, and then when an owner pays their dues with whatever payment method they want to do, that money gets routed directly into the association's bank account. You can even have multiple bank accounts, so you can set up where some money routes to one bank, another. Every association is a little bit different, but you can connect multiple bank accounts.
Yeah. No, well, let's focus a little bit on the e-voting, because I think that's really important. It's a lot of little moving parts that take place right now. People are doing it this way, and then you have to do this, and then you have to verify that, because there's not a whole lot that's more valuable than financial security and voting security.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How many steps are you saving, just for example, with this one tunnel of e-voting?
Yeah, so we try to make it as simple as possible. So I'll kind of walk you through what the process would look like. You would, let's say you have an upcoming election coming up in January to start the new year. You would pretty much, what you would do is say, okay, you can vote for up to 3 of the 6 candidates below. What you can attach like a picture with a picture of all the candidates, a little description of who they are, and then you make it like a multi-select type option. And then what happens is everyone would get notified that there's now an e-vote in place, and they would just go in, vote for the candidates. And what's nice is people can't claim fraud anymore, right? There's a systematic way of tracking it. Yeah. Everything's being recorded. Yeah. You do have the ability to still vote on people's behalf. Like if there's a proxy vote, or you want to still do paper ballots, you do have the ability to still systematically record those, and attach a picture of the vote to that person's vote, so that it's still systematically captured and everything's organized. But we allow you to, I always say we allow you to do it kind of like when you're doing the elections for president. There's the popular vote and there's the electoral vote, and our system allows you to set it up however you need. So just to put it in perspective, most of the time 1 vote per property is typically how it works, but there's some communities where certain square footage get more of a vote than their neighbors get. So
wow.
You can have you can have weighted votes as well in the system.
Okay.
So it can accommodate people who won't use e-voting. I mean, they're just there's just still one generation, I'm sure, that needs to, well, anyway, that we still have to deal with. That is not going
help us here, Noah. Help us.
That is not going to use a computer, even if you set them down in front of it and say push here. They're still not going to use it. So, do you then also send out the paper envelopes?
Certainly, you have the option to do that. We actually,
the association still have to do the paper part.
So what it'd be great to also be able to show one of these days, because it's easier when you see it to understand it. But we have a really good partnership with USPS, where you can actually, whether it's the voting, the ballots, or it's sending out invoices or sending out newsletters, couple clicks of the button in ManageCasa, and you can have letters delivered to people's door within 2 to 3 days. Wow. And for one page document, it's 95 cents for one page, 20 cents any additional page. If you Google the cost of a stamped envelope right now, it's 95 cents. So it's just the cost of a stamp and an envelope, but it's also the printing, the shipping, the time wasted. It's completely hands off.
What I really love is the trackability, the accountability that technology is giving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's no, you have to be some kind of amazing genius to be able to get around the technology and have fraud and stuff. And with the push of a button, you have proof that you can give to associations and put in notes and, you know, minutes, things like that.
And we've had, clients that, want to do their due diligence and make sure that it's like in their state that this meets the qualifications. So we have clients in Texas, Florida, all over the country that have reached out to their own, lawyers and have that verified that, they're like, yes, this is legal. This meets all the state regulations and requirements. And yeah, it's like you said, Susan, it's like systematically tracked, and you can't, I've heard a lot of horror stories with different board elections and stuff going south and the integrity of the vote. That this helps, prevent some of that from happening, because you can't argue with the results of a technology vote.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, in Florida, apparently the fraudulent voting has gotten so bad, they have put in the last couple of years even more types of fraudulent voting, including bribery and bully and intimidation and buying votes. They've put in a bunch of new laws, and the penalties here in Florida are criminal penalties. They're not civil.
Wow. Wow.
It's
to be taken seriously. Yeah.
Apparently we have people that are just dying to be on the board. I'm like, oh, gosh.
Where are they?
No.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe all of that.
So the integrity.
Why don't we take a quick break?
Okay.
I want to take a quick break. We'll come back to the integrity, and then I want to talk about support.
Yes.
Integrity next. Hang on. Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Are you ready for a new career? Do you have skills or interest in management, real estate, construction, maintenance, accounting, strategic planning, project management, budgets, human resource management, lawn and landscaping, pool services, or any other expertise needed to operate a community association? If you do, community association management could be for you. For more information, feel free to email Betsy at betsy@floridacamschools.com or visit the Florida Cam Schools website at www.floridacamschools.com. Florida Community Association Management continues to grow. Career opportunities abound.
Noah, I want to just continue the conversation about integrity and accountability with the software that you offer.
Yeah, I mean, so, getting off of the e-voting topic, which I think we've covered, it goes way beyond that, where, I kind of mentioned in the beginning, this is like your all-in-one place for all of your community's information. So in case of any audits down the line, in case of any, legal cases, you have everything documented. You have all of your files, folders, communications, reports, financials, everything's in one place. We operate in the cloud. We use Amazon Web Services, top-notch security. So we provide that safe environment for you to, store all of your data. And, in case at any point you need to pull up a record from a few years back, you have it there. And it's easy to document it.
Okay. Betsy, let me ask you this. What are you seeing in most communities? Are they doing it the old-fashioned way? Is technology?
Well,
are they?
I am.
Okay.
but the communities that have 100 owners or more, they're using mostly some sort of software system, I would imagine. The uniqueness, I think, of what I do is I'm not on site, and my little communities don't have violations, and they don't have maintenance needs. Very, very few. Okay. So I don't need a robust system where owners can go in and put in maintenance requests or ARC requests or things like that. But I'm not normal.
Right. You're not a community.
I'm not usual. I'm not the norm. The communities and the managers that I know, they spend an awful lot of time with things like maintenance requests, maintenance issues, ARCs, the violations. And the bigger ones, like Noah said, they do clubhouse rentals or at least reservations, golf dates, tea times.
Oh, wow.
um,
Oh yeah.
Wow.
sign up for water aerobics, kinds of things, all the activities, the bingo club.
Okay, activities. I had no idea.
So
Okay.
all of those activities and things, it probably, and Noah, tell me if I'm right, it probably interfaces with your gate system. So
Yes.
that you have all of the gate codes and the gate systems all interfaced with that. And when you're talking, I mean, the communities that are being built right now right. I mean, Florida, Central Florida, at least where I live, I can't drive anywhere that there's not a dump truck
Right.
or a backhoe or something that's digging up ground.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we're going to have hundreds of thousands of communities here in Florida, or homes in Florida. And those communities will be using some sort of very high-end integrated system like Noah's talking about. And
Yeah.
from a smaller management company point of view, I can't imagine, I do use QuickBooks but I have a community that has only 8 units. I can do QuickBooks with that. And I have another one that has 15. I can do QuickBooks with that. But I have a whole lot of things on spreadsheets as far as owners' contact information. I have all my files stored in the cloud and in owners' folders in Word documents, PDF.
You're very meticulous. You are to a T. You put somebody in charge like me,
well,
and it would be pure chaos.
I'm an old legal secretary. So filing is crucial to me. So my electronic files would be filed the same way I would have filed if it was paper. But I'm thinking of that being able to import those kinds of things, import the QuickBooks. Can a general ledger be imported from QuickBooks?
Yes, certainly.
That ends up looking right.
Yeah, and we actually, the accounting, we did build our own accounting platform. That is like kind of the heart and soul of ManageCasa.
Yeah.
It started with building the accounting suite and then adding on everything else on top of it to create that all-in one-stop shop. But Betsy, for you, it'd be an easy learning curve because we actually took the best of QuickBooks. We took the best of QuickBooks and like the whole reconciliation process, everything. The look and feel is very similar in our system that you would see in QuickBooks. We took kind of like the best and the, and then we just enhanced on it to make it more focused on managing communities.
That is amazing.
I'm obsessive about having files named correctly, and they're all named consistently. And so they all line up in a row. And I would think that all those PDF files would import into owners' records files.
Certainly.
Noah, let me ask you this. If somebody's looking, they're watching this video, listening to this, and they're like, hey, this is something I want to look into. What kind of questions should they be asking? I hope that yours is the one that they land on, but what are some of the things that make you different? And what are some really good questions they should be asking that's specific for their community?
Yeah, it's a great question. Obviously, there's a lot of competition in this industry. I would say what really separates us is the fact that we do have, and I keep mentioning it, the all-in-one stop shop. We do have, you don't need to use multiple systems with us. ManageCasa would be the only system you need to use. We are, very modern tech stack. So a lot of our competitors are starting to look a little more, like Windows 1990s. It's a little more old school type technology at this point. Whereas we're very modern and slick, easy to use, easy interface. And I would always encourage everybody to ask people, Betsy, you mentioned it earlier, the whole migration and the onboarding process. Like, ask, what does that look like for our community? Because if you put garbage in, you get garbage out, and you really want to make sure you're setting it. If you don't set the system up properly from the beginning, and you don't know how to use it, you're going to have an awful experience. So I would really ask, what's the onboarding process look like? What does the support process look like? With ManageCasa, if you come to me, I would be your dedicated account manager through your lifetime. So you have like a person you can call at any point. And a lot of our competitors, people that come to us from some of our competitors, complain that they submit a ticket and nobody replies to them, or it takes weeks to hear back from support. With us, we obviously have the standard ticketing, where if you just have a general question, you can just email our support team. But you also have a person like myself that you can call if something's urgent. And we'll check in periodically with you to make sure you're getting the most out of the software. And, finally, I would say we're very future forward thinking. I'm actually going to a conference next week, OpTech in Vegas, where we're going to be launching our whole like AI component. That's the big buzzword in technology.
Boy.
So, yeah.
And then the complaints that I hear, besides the burden of onboarding, it's not particularly a complaint. It just takes a lot. But is the support and the training. And I've had several communities contact me and tell me that they have, they've gone through this elaborate training with a certain company. I won't name names. They go through this training. The training, it seems to be very, very difficult and confusing. And they integrate it all, and then they give it back. They say, we don't like it. And they don't, like you say, they don't get a call back from support. You can't, you've got a question on something like software and inputting and exporting and reconciling and whatever, you need an answer right now.
Yeah.
You
especially, especially in this industry, right? Board members, it's a volunteer role. They have their own jobs, or they're retired, or they have a family. Like usually being on a board, that's your third or fourth job, being on the board. So the most frustrating thing that can happen is to feel like you're not being supported and you can't get a hold of someone. So I always say, I might not have the answer, but I'll pick up your phone call and I'll, guide you in the right direction.
Because that's, I've heard of two recently that went through, thousands and thousands of dollars of buying it, and then, equipping their managers with laptops and cell phones and everything else, and they just gave it back.
Obviously we do the training, and we try to make sure that you feel comfortable like driving the car. We're putting you guys in control to run the system. Once you're done with the training, you have to feel confident that how to run it. But then we also, in addition to just having good support and somebody you can call, we have like an AI assistant. Picture ChatGPT for ManageCasa. So we have hundreds of videos and help center articles. But instead of having to go and read through all that and watch it and find your answer, you just type in, how do I post a transaction? How do I, conduct a e-vote? And the ChatGPT, the ManageCasa AI, it's going to scan our help center articles and videos and give you like, okay, step 1, do this, step 2, do that, step 3. So
that's amazing.
I'm loving AI. I'm having a good time with AI.
More than I would.
They say like, 9 out of 10 times, if they have a question, that AI assistant will just answer it. Yeah. And then if that doesn't help them, then they can just call us and we'll help you out.
So one last question, pricing, packages, is it all or nothing, or can you buy pieces? And is there any way to give an idea of how the pricing goes? I don't know if you can, or if that's proper to do that here.
Well, first of all, if anyone's watching this and is interested in learning more, reach out to me and let me know that we're watching Betsy's podcast, and I'll make sure to give you a nice discount. Ooh. But on top of that, in general, like sticker price, it's about $1 a unit per month. Okay. If you do an annual contract with us, you get 2 months for free. So instead of $1 a month, it's $10 for the year a unit. Okay. And then everything's customizable. So depending on what you actually need, we have communities that don't use us for the financial. Okay. They still want to use like a CAM or a management company to handle the financials, but they still want to have a portal for owners to log in for communications and everything else. So obviously we're not going to charge them the same amount that we would charge somebody that uses the accounting. So it always just depends on the situation as well.
Yeah. And in Florida, the homeowner associations, if they have more than 100 parcels, they have to have a website. And if
Yes.
you're a condo and you have more than 25 units, you have to have a website. So your system will meet all of that
And
requirements.
yes, we've been bringing in a lot of clients in Florida over the past few months, getting ready for the new laws to go into
Yeah.
effect in January.
In January.
So we haven't touched on it either, but in addition to like our portal, we can provide you with a website as well, and give you like an edit. You can edit the website. A very easy tool. You don't need an IT person. You can keep your website dynamic. So yeah, it definitely meets the requirements where you can have your public facing website, but also an owner portal for all the
Owner
private
portal
documents.
where we have all of our the required documents that we have to have now online.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
Well, that sounds good.
Well, it
Noah,
sounds good.
before we end, is there anything that you feel like we didn't touch on that you want to make sure that everybody knows about?
I really enjoyed the conversation. I think we touched on most of it. I would think, we're almost in 2026, and most communities at this point expect to have somewhere where you can log in, whether it's an app or just being able to log in on your computer, where you can see what's going on within your community. And I know there's still so many communities out there that are using spreadsheets, QuickBooks, and Betsy, I totally get it. You got the. If smaller communities, it might make more sense to do that. But it's always worth seeing what else is out there and just seeing what the options are. I'd be happy to hop on a quick 15, 20-minute demo with anyone that's interested. Learn more about your situation, your community, show you what we have, and no harm. If it's not a good fit, that's fine. But I think you guys would be impressed with what you see.
Okay,
that's awesome. Noah, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I don't know. You can always go to the website ManageCasa.com. I don't know if there's a way for me to share my contact information as well, but I'm happy to provide an email address, a phone number type thing.
We'll get that and make sure it gets up on the screen.
Perfect. Let's do that.
That's good.
Noah, thank you so much. Betsy, it was a joy.
Thank you.
Man, we're going to be talking. It's going to be December 2025 episode next time we talk. So thank you for
Noah,
joining
so much. And
thank you both for having me. I really appreciate it.
I hope that people will call you and at least ask some questions and find out what you're all about. It sounds good. Sounds like a good product.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate that, especially coming from, somebody who's on QuickBooks. The fact that you can see the value in this, even if it's not for you, for other people. That's a great endorsement right there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us for CAM Matters. As always, would you please consider sharing this content with maybe a friend, someone in your family, someone that you're networking with, and go ahead and rate the show too. Betsy puts a lot of time and effort into making these shows happen for you. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you for listening to CAM Matters. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. For more information, feel free to email Betsy at betsy@floridacamschools.com or visit the Florida Cam Schools website at www.floridacamschools.com. Information provided on this show is general in nature and does not constitute legal advice. Please contact a licensed attorney for your specific situation.